Ron Sanchez has a Dai Dai Ames problem. Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press. Sanchez halfway through his interim season. It's going to be his one and done season, unfortunately. He still doesn't know what he has in the backcourt, and it's because he has himself a Dai Dai Ames problem. Ames has started 11 games at point guard, but the 6-1 transfer from Kansas State has been on the bench the last three games. Actually started the NC State game, was taken out at the 10-minute mark after having played 9 minutes of that first half. Didn't get back in the game after that. He played 10 minutes then against Louisville, 4 minutes against Cal. Um, with him getting limited minutes off the bench, that's leaving Virginia with a point guard by committee, led by Andrew Rohde, who's been putting up good numbers of late. He's averaging 13.7 points a game in his last three. But let's be honest, we're just kind of waiting for Rohde to have another tough stretch. Before these last three games, he had a 5 game stretch where he averaged 6.2 points, 2.6 assists, 2.8 turnovers, shot in the mid 30s, which was more reminiscent of what he did last year when he shot in the 20s, upper 20s from the field and 3 points. And then he averaged 4.3 points, 2.7 assists. Rhodey's a streaky player, and hopefully he's overcome that. But even just this season, we saw a long stretch where he didn't play well. Right now, he's playing well, and Virginia's still not playing well as a team. That could portend some bad things if something happens and he goes downhill because he's the guy right now at the point. Tane Murray is getting the starts in the place of Ames. We haven't seen much from him of late. Um, 10 points in his last three games in 70 minutes of playing time. Ishan Sharma is getting more minutes and he's looking good. He was recruited as a perimeter shooter. He's been getting minutes as a backup point guard, got 25 against Cal, had three threes. Um, and so, we can hope that that can continue to develop. Isaac McNeely has been disappointing if you consider, I mean, not just the 3 points in 37 minutes, one of eight shooting in the Cal loss, but even, I mean, he's the leading scorer on this team, right? 12.3 points a game. But I mean, his numbers are pretty much what they were last year. Last year, he averaged 12.3 points a game. He still can't get to the rim and do anything. He's still a one-trick pony, and I think that's a reflection on the coaching staff not developing him. He's still a guy who can shoot threes, and that's about it. What Cal did, and Cal not a good defensive team, Cal not a good team in general, was able to basically say, all right, we're not going to let you beat us from three. They forced him into dribbling into inside of the 3 point line, and he's not adept at that. So he's not going to do anything if he does. That's the problem. So what do you do? Virginia is 8-7 with a 100 plus net rating. I mean, this is not a team that's going to be anywhere in the postseason. Probably losing on Tuesday in the ACC tournament. And if they don't lose on Tuesday, they'll lose on Wednesday in the ACC tournament. Um, reasons for that, one and two are this team can't play defense, can't rebound the ball. But the bigger issue to me is reason number three, the backcourt. And why Ames is in the doghouse is a mystery. One thing that Sanchez said after the Louisville game was that a reason for Ames, being relegated to the bench right now is he needs to do better taking care of the ball because Sanchez is trying to emphasize the reduction in turnovers that had been plaguing this team at times this season. So to say that though is weird because when you look at the stats, turnovers aren't a problem for him. He's averaging 1.3 a game. I mean, in context, Rhodey's averaging over two a game. McNeely's averaging right at two a game. And his turnover percentage is actually lower than Rhodey's. It's right where McNeely's is. It's lower than Tane Murray's. The issue isn't sloppiness. It's that he's not a creator as a point guard. He's basically a 6-1 shooting guard. And, I mean, that is what it is. He's averaging only 1.7 assists per game. And he's good at getting to the rim, and he's good in catch and shoot threes. He's a 6-1 like I said, a 6-1 shooting, a playmaking shooting guard, playmaking for himself shooting guard. He's a square peg in a round hole. I think this is recruiting miss, and that's all I can say there. Virginia went for the most talented guy they can get, not a guy who fit the system. The problem for this Virginia team then is If you're going to bench him because he doesn't fit your style of play, he's the only guy on this roster who can create his own shot. This is a team that's highly dependent upon. I mean, the whole offensive system is a uh, system that relies on relies on the screens setting everything up. So it's not something that you have a point guard who breaks down his defender off the dribble, draws a double team or draws help defense, and then because of the help defense can find a guy either in the corner or in the post or at the rim, and that guy can do some stuff with it. It's an old school system. But it's clear that this team is not built to do that. This roster is not built to do that, and so you've got the one guy who can create a shot sitting on the bench. Um, and Ames is at his best as we've seen when if you've when you've paid attention to him playing, it's been you haven't been able to lately because he's not been playing much, but he's at his best when there's space. He's at his best, running off of the high pick and roll at the above the top of the key, um, getting into the lane, using the space in the lane. He's actually pretty good around the rim in those situations, and he's good on those catch and shoot threes, like I mentioned, when the ball moves around. If we're going to keep playing the same offense, yeah, sit him because he's not going to fit into this offense. But who else is going to create any shots? That's going to be the problem. Um, I see Dai Dai Ames as being capable of being a double-digit scorer somewhere else in Power Five, just not at Virginia, unfortunately.